Hey there, YouTube friends, Masked Bandit here, and thanks so much for being here. This is the baseball stadium build, episode number 3. And I said I wasn't going to make any more video of me putting in the seats, but then I realized if I didn't do that, there'd be no video for forever. This is a monumental task. I severely underestimated it, but like I said, once I got the flow, it did go a little faster, but yeah, and so this time lapse is really chopped up. This is several hours. This is 4 or 5 hours that I've really condensed down into about 8.5 minutes, and that's going at 8 times the speed. So I cut out a large chunk because you don't need to see the exact same things I did last time. So on the time lapse here, what you're seeing are any major changes to the as an airplane goes overhead. Good God, we have the windows open tonight, and it finally got cool. Well, it's been actually fairly cool here in Houston for a while, so we have the windows open, and it's actually kind of chilly, but that means you hear all the airplanes. I live directly under a flight path, so humblest of apologies if you're hearing the So anyway, I wanted to make sure I put this part in the video because this is really showing the change I made to the foul line, both sides. It was too high. It was too tall. After looking at a lot of reference pics, most of the more modern fields are much, much lower. They don't have that huge wall that goes up at nearly as steep of an angle as we had it. It was making putting the seats in really kind of challenging. So this actually made it much easier to do it at a lower angle. And then it made this little notch here I thought was kind of interesting. Like, it would suck to have a ball get stuck in there. Oh my God, like if you hit it down the line just right and it bounced around in there, that would be like an easy triple every time, I would think. So I kind of like that little quirk. I'm feeling like the nice thing here is as these problems arise, it creates a more unique look to the park, which is kind of exactly what I wanted. And here's another area where we're having some issues, is this huge cutout that I have. I like this idea of having this raised area. I think now, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I think Target Field or Target Stadium, whatever it's called, in Minnesota where the Twins play, have a big chunky thing like that. At least from a little bit I've seen of that park. But to be fair, my team, the Cubs, are in the National League, so I don't see the Twins very often, so I haven't really seen that park a lot. I should check it out. Should research that park. It's a pretty cool park. But anyway, that was an hour and a half of time lapse that we just blew through there. So you can see I'm really cutting a bunch out. Here we're moving on into the outfield, and this will be near the end of, this will pretty much then cap off the seating in the ground in the main level here, which is really kind of exciting. So it's nice to think that we can start building up in the next episode. So that'll be good. The outfield was actually much easier than I thought it was going to be. I was really worried, but one of the things I did do is I redid the rows to make them a little bit shallower. I felt like the grandstands were a little steep, but again, that was one of those things I wanted to change once I was way too far in. So in the outfield, I did make the seats, the rows, much shallower, so it's not quite as cavernous, I guess, from the field. And not as many seats are fitting in as I thought they were going to be out here. I probably have way too much room in between the rows. But again, I'm using the 4 meters just for the sake of keeping things kind of even and looking decent throughout. So that's kind of why. I've also revamped the stairs, the concrete stairs, to make them easier to maneuver and mess around with, and hopefully cut down on pieces a bit. So hopefully that will make things go a little bit easier. Yeah, and so after that, after the seats are in, I wanted to get some detailing in this episode so that you weren't just watching me place seats again for 10 minutes, because that's not fun for anybody. So what I start doing is I start really trying to dress up the outfield walls here. First thing I'm doing, if you're unfamiliar, that is the foul line, or that is the demarcation line for in play or home run. Any ball that's hit on or above that line is a home run. I think it's above. It might just be above. I don't know. But anyway, we have that as a, that line, anything under that line is in play, anything over it is a home run. And yeah, so that's going to go all the way around the outfield wherever there are seats. I don't think I'm going to put it in front of the batter's eye. I think that's pretty self-evident that if it goes over the fence there, it's definitely not in play. So, I don't know. I'm searching here for something to use for little mats, little cushions, little pads, padding, wall padding. Again, my team, the Cubs, they play at Wrigley Field, the second oldest ballpark in the country, and Wrigley Field doesn't have padding. It has ivy-covered walls and ivy-covered brick walls. And in the beginning of the season, you know, season starts end of March, early April. It's just bare sticks. The leaves haven't come in yet. It looks absolutely abysmal to play out there. And guys crash into the ivy and they get all scraped up and stuff. And I didn't really want to go that route. I thought we'd go a little more modern, so I started throwing in some padding here. I did intentionally leave a couple pixels of space in between the art shapes here to kind of convey that they are individual pads. So I think that's kind of cool. One of the things we have to consider here, and I think I'm going to talk about it in the live portion. There's going to be a little live portion at the end of the video here, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. If I didn't, sorry. There will be a live portion about 8.5 minutes in, and you can, if you're tired of time-lapse, you can skip to that, as I tell you, with only about 2 minutes of time-lapse left. Sorry. But we need to think about bullpens, and I think right where I'm at here will be a good bullpen place. I might remove the pads here and cut everything back and make bullpens there. And the bullpens, if you're unfamiliar, are where the relief pitchers warm up so they can come into the game. And we need a home and away, so we need 2 bullpens. There should be plenty of room there. And so now we're going to work on keeping the people from falling onto the field. A couple ideas here that I tried, and none of them really did it for me. And this is interesting. If you select too many pieces with the multi-select tool, you cannot move them all at once. So I think I had like 19 or 20,000 pieces selected. The game was like, nope, not going to move that. So I had to do it in small chunks, and I realized that I couldn't do what I wanted to do anyway, so it was all for naught. But these little brick walls, these little brick details here came in really, really handy to create a little wall. The issue I'm having now that I'm watching this is if a ball hits above that yellow line, it should be a home run. So I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of replays in this stadium. The only other option would be to put the yellow line on top of the railing. But then I run into the issue of what kind of piece can I use for that. So I might have to fix that. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure. So we're actually nearing the end of the time lapse here. And so with that, I'm going to just kind of say enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side for the real-time portion of the video. So see you over there. Alright, so we're here in kind of a little mini real-time portion because I kind of want you to get an idea of the scope. I don't think the pictures really do a good job of it. So this is everything, this is most of the stuff I worked on in this episode here. All this seating. All this seating. This is one of my guide walls that I'm going to use to put in the angles to this section. There's really no good way to do this in Planet Coaster because you don't have a mirror function. Mirroring would be really cool. But we don't have that, so what you gonna do? You can see the changes I made over here. I know it's kind of hard to see in the time lapse. To the wall, I think I like this a lot better. It also made it easier to put the seats in, so that's really cool. And you can see I mirrored it sort of over here. One thing I want you to know is it's not symmetrical. And it's not supposed to be. Most baseball parks, I guess the good ones, I think we talked about this in a previous episode, are not symmetrical. They're not perfect cookie cutters. So you can see it's a shorter right field here with a much deeper left field. And I think we're going to keep that open as like a service entrance, a service gate type thing, where like a lot of the trucks would come, the tractors and stuff. And we can also, this would be like if you're singing the... like at Minute Maid, when you're singing the national anthem, you come out of this gate in right field. It's actually right here. It's actually this big space is wide open, like right here. And then they got the bullpens over here. We're going to have to consider bullpens. We might put them under here, actually. That might be a good place to put the bullpens. So one of the things that I think is really cool that I don't think I really talked about is this little raised area here. I think I might make this a patio. That might be kind of cool with like then some small seating up here, kind of like would be reserved for corporations and stuff to bring people over to kind of schmooze. Wrigley Field has some areas along each foul line that are big block areas for groups. And they actually also have inside the batter's eye, they've got the dark glazed windows, but you can sit in the batter's eye as an indoor area. It's really cool. I don't think we're going to do that, but what we are going to have to do is we're getting to the point now where we're going to be able to start adding on the second deck. And that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do the 200 level, which is going to be the club, the clubs, and then the suites. And then after that, we'll have to tack on the upper deck. So we still have a lot to do. And one thing I've noticed, and I'm just kind of going to have to go with it at this point because to fix it would be a nightmare. My dugouts are huge. They're way too deep. They're way too deep. It should really only be about that deep, and you can see how huge they are in relation to everything else. And I think it really throws off my scale here, which is kind of a bummer. But I didn't realize it until I was way too far in, and I don't think I want to fix it. So I want to show you a couple little details here, or get some views of what you'd be looking at if you were in the park. So here is our here's our bleachers, or our outfield seating. And I made it shallower. I made it a little bit more shallow than the grandstands. And I really like the way this turned out. I thought this turned out quite well, actually. You got this little railing here, and this railing will be around all of the front row seating here. The brick, I think, does a nice job of blocking people from falling over. I like this a lot. These are supposed to be, and we probably talked about it in the time-lapse portion. You can get a better view here of our pads, our mats, our cushions for our outfielders here. And so in case I have to slam into the wall, I'm considering. Oh no, I'm not. I was considering doing ivy here, and that just didn't happen. So, just a quick little view of what it's like to actually be in this park, and some different views from, like, if I were sitting over here and this is our view. I think it's not bad. It's pretty cool. I love my row of pirates. I think those are ridiculous. Look at them. Random pirates. I have to go in and delete all of those. We still have to add concrete under here, and I am not looking forward to that. I don't know how I'm going to do that, which is why it's not there yet. Ha ha ha. So you can see, though, that it's really starting to look. I like it from up here. I think up here it's really, oh yeah. I think that looks really quite nice. I'm pretty pleased with how that's looking right now, and it's only going to look better as we build up. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think most of, yeah, so we're going to build straight up from the back here and go, and the second deck will move back farther and farther. So we're actually going to have quite a bit of depth going here. The issue is we are currently sitting at almost 95,000 pieces. And you can see how unfinished we are. Like, we're nowhere near close. I'd say we're at about 20% done, if that. And we're at 95,000 pieces. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how far we can go. So I just wanted to give you a slowed down look and a non-cinematic look at what's going on here. So I hope you enjoyed it, and you can expect the next episode of the baseball stadium to come out in a little bit. And I hope you join me for that one, because this is I think it's a fun project, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So with that, have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever. And I will see you for the next episode of the baseball stadium build. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.